You and I walked around through your old neighborhood, and you talked about feeling bad that it's a dangerous place, that it's a place you said you wouldn't take me there after the sun went down because it's too dangerous. I know that's hard for you to go back and see what's happened to your neighborhood. So with that in mind, what does that do to kids that are growing up there now?
Absolutely. Again, just a great point. I would awaken in that community to a one-a-day vitamin, orange juice and cereal, parents who loved me and kissed me. I went about, my next-door neighbor was a stout German Catholic woman who had no children. I had to contribute. I had to shovel her snow this time of the year for no money. Those were the values that neighborhood had. Now that neighborhood looks like I am legend. I can't imagine getting up in the morning, seeing all of the decay. And it's not just Detroit. If you look closer, this is across America. You look at Flint. We don't talk about Flint. Flint is flattened, and I don't want the Flint folks mad at me. But what people do not realize is that when there's no more meat on the carcass, they're coming to your community. And some people's answer is a vigilante or circle and get law enforcement and stop you from entering. Your kids are part of this. They see it. So unless we become not moral, but in self-interest, you better help.
It almost sounds like you're saying that it's not so much about building a wall around your house and getting guns or dogs or any of that, because they may not be coming through the front door. They might be coming through your schools. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely. It's coming through everywhere, seriously. I mean, when you can't sit down and enjoy, I go back and I chastise, I protest. The community that I grew up in was a great community with multiple stores, mom and pop shops. So people say, Taylor, you're choking on nostalgia. But you lose a lot of your freedom. That's what people don't understand. If you want to not be moral, you should be moral to me. But if you don't want to be moral, you're losing more and more of your freedom. And if your backlash is that you think that you're going to grab a gun and kill them, then go look at I Am Legend again. At the end of I Am Legend, everybody's happy. It's not going to work like this. That rage is there, that resentment is there, and a morality is there. A lot of these kids that we're looking at, they're not immoral. They're amoral. They haven't even been taught. So I look at the blogs. I have to tell you, Jim, I look at the blogs in this state about issues of Detroit, and they're just, people should look at what they're saying. They say the worst things, like to hell with them. We should just blow up the whole damn city. Well, then perhaps we should just blow up the whole nation. I mean, you look at unemployed kids, uneducated kids, and it's the same thing overseas. And when you look in Iran and you look at, they had the young Ayatollah there who had all these young boys. These are young boys with weapons with an older guy telling them what to do. And I'm not trying to be facetious. They're also young boys whose hormones are busting. And so if they can't get it one way, they get it through violence. And there's no protest. So we don't have to go overseas. It's right here. We see the enemy, and we're looking in the mirror, but we don't like what we see, so we pretend it's not there.
Fighting violence with violence doesn't work?
I have a brother who was an ex-SEAL who will tell you, of course it works. I say that is only a temporary fix, and I think that it does more damage. Being violent, beating people, scaring them, has already gotten us in trouble. If you look at our prison systems, what's in there is treated very tough, beyond tough. And what it produces is a monster. And, again, I'm serious. Have you talked to these young men who come out? They have no fear. They're amoral. And they're mad as hell. And I think that we could cut that to 3/4. And we could cut that down quite a bit. I think we meet violence with wisdom. And we use violence if we have to as a last resort. But I think if I treat you as I would like for you to be treated, me, I think it works. I know it does. It works much better. I have some ex-offenders that have been working for me now almost 20 years. And they know I don't tolerate violence, and I'm including, you can get mad, but you cannot get violent with me verbally. If you do, see you. Take the exit. It does work.
We're talking about the biggest problems that are facing us, and you're basically saying, what's the golden rule?
Every time you and I talk about my parents and my grandmother. My grandmother lives, and she had a 3rd grade education, seriously. She would talk about, you don't do that to that guy because you don't want that guy doing that to you. And it was just good common sense. And I became shocked along the way of my research when I ran into a father in a barbershop instructing his son that if you got into a fight, come home and get the gun. I almost fainted. You know, the researcher went out the window. I'm like, what are you talking about? Grand said, go the other way. There's nothing wrong with being afraid. There's nothing wrong with stepping up when someone is wrong and protesting. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. Just treat me. That's why you and I get on so well, right? I mean,
absolutely.
Seriously.
Yeah. Well, no. Well, obviously, I mean, you know, in when talking about that, the discussions we have, I mean, there's a give and take. I listen to you, you listen to me, but we show up at the table ready to listen, and I don't know that that's happening out there.
Oh, absolutely. I think not. But I think the stereotypes, the fear, and the ignorance is what dictates a lot of the conflict. And I go out of my way. I'm laughing. I said, when they were putting the makeup, I look like Shrek. I look like Goliath, seriously. And so people get, you know, I speak to people a lot of times, and they look at me funny. I'm a happy guy. That's the way I was raised. I'm happy. But people say things to me, even as an academic, they say to me, I wouldn't want to meet you in a dark alley. I'm like, whoa, I don't travel in dark alleys, dude. We have to get beyond the stereotypes, and we really have to make an effort at peace. If we made the same effort towards peace that we do with war, I really believe we would do a lot better.
We'll be back after this.